Hello friends, my name is Sugandhi and I am pursuing PhD at Thapa University, Patiala. My topic is Sign Language Automation. So first of all, what is sign language? Sign language is gestural visual language with sign as lexical unit instead of words used in spoken language. Manual communication is used to convey the message corresponding to as it is conveyed by sound patterns. It involves currently combining hand shape, movement, location, orientation of hand, arms, body, and facial expression to express the speaker's thought. Sign language is had developed wherever the communities of deaf people exist, and it is at the core of deaf culture. From total world's population, 5% of population has disabling hearing loss. The motivation for research is that there are 22 official languages in India and 415 other living languages. So there is diversity in languages and it has its own challenge when it comes to different villages, communities and states of a nation. ISL is one of the living languages in India used by deaf and hard of hearing people. According to 2011 census of India, the number of persons with hearing impaired in India is near about 5.1 million, and out of total 26.8 million persons that have disabilities in India. 360 million people, over 5% of world population has disabling hearing loss. So for this purpose I have chosen sign language automation so that it can help to communicate them with other people. So what is sign language? Sign language is gestural visual language that use lexical unit instead of words using spoken languages. Each country has its own sign language and some countries can have more than one sign language. So what is the need of sign language? As hearing impaired people cannot use spoken language, so they use sign language to convey their message. They use their hand, face, arms for conveying the thoughts and meaning. There is huge need of sign language automation as 5.1 million people are hearing impaired in India and there is no such mechanism to fill the gap for communication between hearing impaired people and normal people. So the research on ISL automation is limited because of the lack of ISL knowledge and unavailability of such tools. The main reason behind low literacy rate can be following: lack of sign language interpreters. Till 20th century, it is considered that deafness is punishment for the sins and signing was strictly discouraged. Unavailability of ISL tool, lack of researches on ISL. Types of sign languages. As sign languages have emerged naturally in deaf communities among spoken languages, sign language have their own grammar which is quite different from other oral languages. They have different grammatical structure at their core. So sign language is not universal language. Each country has its own sign language, like American Sign Language ASL, British Sign Language BSL, Indian Sign Language ISL, Italian Sign Language LIS, like other German Sign Language DGS. So the diagram clearly shows the types of sign languages. These are some of the sign languages. Spanish Sign Languages LSA, that are the main part of sign language, LIS, ISL, ASL and BSL. Indian Sign Language (ISL). According to World Federation of Deaf and hard of hearing people constitutes approximately 70 million worldwide. Regarding ISL, according to Fidelity, in their own research on universal design tools states that ISL is unique in many ways. It cannot be written in English or Hindi. There are many features of ISL. Sign language is the natural language for deaf community as they use it for everyday communication among themselves or to others. Sign language are non-verbal languages. Information is conveyed visually through a combination of manual and non-manual features of expression. ISL is generally classified into three classes: one-handed, two-handed, and non-manual. Manual features are hand shape, hand posture, hand location, hand motion, and other side non-manual features include head, body, and facial expression, gaze, lip pattern, etc. So what is one-handed sign? One-handed sign uses only single hand, that is dominating hand, which is right hand, is used for representation of sign. These are either static or dynamic. Each of these, static and dynamic, is further divided into manual and non-manual signs. Manual signs are those signs which include hand, arms, and other body parts, whereas non-manual signs include facial expression, eyebrows, lips, and other, etc. Next is two-handed sign. These are signs that are represented by using both hands. These signs are classified into two categories: static and dynamic signs, which are further classified into manual and non-manual. Dynamic signs are further classified into type 0 and type 1. Type 0 signs include both hands that are in active position. So in this video I have shown you the sign of body which uses both hands moving downward simultaneously. Whereas type 1 sign uses right hand more active than the other hand. That is, right hand is more active than the left hand. So the video shows the sign of go over. The man showing the sign, the right hand is more active and moving downward upper side of the left hand. Manual features. Manual features include hand shape, location, movement, orientation of palm, and other features as parameter of manual feature of Indian Sign Language. Different languages have different parameters depending on their different manners. So in ASL there are 20 different movements. ISL has hand shape with both hand and one-handed or two-handed. Finger spelling is a subset of sign language that use manual alphabet to spell the word. So alphabet is represented using our fingers. Hand gestures are used by conveying the message using our hands by hand shape, location, and their hand movements. Face gesture is used by conveying their message using eyebrow, lips, mouth, and facial expression or head tilts. Body gesture is used for conveying the message using our body, like body shifting or rolling body or body expansion or compression. Verb modifier is used like run slow or run fast. Positional sign is used by the gesture by using the position of noun for any action. Direction sign are used for the set of gesture that use direction of verb, noun for any action. Classifier signs are used to differentiate one action from another. So the next is non-manual features. Non-manual features include facial expression, body posture, gazing, lip movement, head tilt. So it can be abbreviated as NMF. So the NMF can be modified the meaning of manual sign. The question mark is represented by eyebrow position. Some signs are distinguishable only by lip shape or by gazing as they share a common manual sign. Sign language automation is generated by the sum of existing systems for their native sign language. These are SignSynth, VisiCat, eSign, TESA, INGIT, SISI, English to ISL system, ProDeaf, etc. SignSynth was developed by Smith in 1999 for weather information domain at Linguistics Department of University of New Mexico. The system generates speech synthesis corresponding to its spoken language. It uses three input modules, a skystroke next, and Roman text. It generates the skystroke tree, which is then act as input to VRML notation, and it is fed into SignGen module, which further generate VRML file for VRML browser, and it helps in playing the 3D animation. So the system uses three interfaces through which the input is input to the system. It uses menu common gateway interface. The working of the system is as described earlier. The output of the system uses a skystroke tree, which is further processed into VRML notation and then Web3D notation. The Web3D file is generated and animated through Web3D browser plugins such as Cortana and FreeWRL. The system can be accessible through the following URL mentioned in the described section. So the next system is VisiCat. VisiCat was developed by Eloy in 2000 and it is used for European Sign Language conversion, like from English text to PSL or DGS for German and GT for Dutch Sign Language. First of all, the user enters the input in English Sign Language. It is then passed by CMU parser, which is further then converted into DRS representation, which is then further act as input to HPSC generation module, which uses Hamnosis, Sigmal, and XML scripting notation. So the Sigmal is further used for animation as shown in the figure. It uses WordNet for the word storing using in their system. So the next tool is eSign. eSign is abbreviated as Essential Sign Language Information on Government Network. It was developed by Segunto in 2003 for assisting the people while applying for or renewing their nation identification certificate and the passport. eSign uses various coding systems to describe different components of signing, that is manual and non-manual components. Hamnosis is used for the animation. The eSign text is entered into the editor and it is divided into sentence or phrases. So this is the interface of eSign editor. You can add new sign and add their Hamnosis. Hamnosis is the phonetic notation used for Sigmal file generation and the generation of avatar animation. So like for a index finger is used, and further some orientation of hand shape and index fingers are used. So the next system is TESA. TESA stands for Text and Sign Support a system. It was developed by Ray in 2004 at University of East Anglia for UK Post Office. The system had an interactive translation system designed to support the conversation between a post office clerk and a deaf customer. So the system translated the speech into BSL, that is British Sign Language. The system uses formulaic grammar approach and uses the set of predefined phrases, and it is used for translation. So in the first part, the clerk speaks into the handset and the speech recognizer recognizes the speech, and on the basis of matching probability, it shows the matching messages on the screen. After confirmation of clerk message, the message is converted into phrase replay, which are pre-stored phrases. The phrases are then played using sign animation avatar, which can be seen by the deaf customer using a display screen or a video screen. So the next system is INIT. INIT was developed by Kar in 2007 for Indian Gestural Interaction Translation System, that is used for Hindi to ISL machine translation. It was initially built for railway reservation domain. It uses hybrid formulaic grammar approach. In this system, it takes the input in the form of Hindi sentences or speech as an input from reservation clerk. The construction grammar for Hindi implemented using FCG converts the input into a thin semantic structure, which is then act as input to Ellipses resolution module, and it generates the structure. The structure is then used by ISL generator, which generates the ISL low string and then translate it into hemnosis using a human border, which is then further play the graphical simulation. For this purpose, graphical generation uses hemnosis dictionary, that is a stored dictionary of words used in the system. SISI, Say It Sign It, was developed by IBM for their project. It was developed by Gloat in 2007. SISI helps the deaf people by converting the speech into British Sign Language. It uses MQTT attached Java avatar. MQTT and microbroker is used as messaging infrastructure. A speech recognition module converts the spoken word into text, which is then interpreted into gesture. These gestures are used to animate an avatar and to generate the sign in BSL. The figure shows the demonstration of SISI system. The system can be accessed through the following URL for the demonstration of SISI. English to ISL system was developed by Das Gupta in 2008. The system takes English sentences as input, which is then pre-processed and analyzed by many parser to identify higher syntactic and functional information of the sentence. After parsing, it is then passed to SL frame representation, which uses WordNet, and thereafter transfer grammar rules are applied on it. After the processing of rules, the ISL sentence generation generates the sentences, which is then passed to ISL video synthesis for the generation of ISL videos. So the next system is ProDeaf. ProDeaf was developed by Korea in 2013 to facilitate the communication between people and hearing impaired. The system recognizes the phrases and words spoken in Portuguese and translates it into signals in Brazilian Sign Language. The application can be downloaded on Android, iOS, Windows version from the given URL in the video. I will give the URLs in the description. The system takes input in the form of text, voice, and sign dictionary. The input text or voice is then translated into Brazilian Sign Language using avatar animation. The user can add new signs by creating sign glues and defining their hand shape, movement, their speed, or can also test by playing the avatar animation and save it in Sign Language Dictionary. The demonstration of the system can be accessed through the given URL. So the picture shows the demonstration of ProDeaf or working of ProDeaf. So what is the application of sign language automation? The main application of sign language automation is effective communication. So deaf and hearing impaired people can use sign language automation to convey their messages to normal people or to deaf or hearing impaired people by using sign language automation. It plays an important role in better education as the teacher can convey the message easily to the students and students can convey their message easily to their teachers. Easy learning. It is easy learning for the parents as well as the students, as parents can convey their message or can communicate to their children using sign language automation as they don't know sign language or do not understand sign language completely. Another application of sign language automation is enhancing knowledge. An individual can enhance their knowledge by learning sign language automation or sign language using sign language automation. So the future scope of sign language automation is very wide as there is 5.1 million people are hearing impaired and there is no such mechanism to fill their gap for communication. So it plays an important role in sign to fill that gap as sign language doesn't have any particular written form, so some notations are used to represent sign language. Some of these are hemnosis. So hemnosis is used as phonetic notation which uses the hand shape, location, orientation and movement. Another scope is the sign language automation enhances the communication. So it is the main advantage for deaf and hearing impaired people. It fills the gap between normal people and hearing impaired people. So thank you friends for watching this video. Kindly share and subscribe this video.